I've been wanting to make this musing for a few days now, and I took already 3 or 4 runs at it, and then I decided not to because a lot of people might find this musing distasteful, because I am going to be picking apart the near-death experience of a young girl, 14-year-old girl, that a few days ago was shared and circulating on my feed, Facebook feed. It is essential that I share my insights and explain what actually happens in this young person's near-death experience with Jesus, with her Jesus encounter. The girl died while riding in the back seat of their car, and was scrolling on the phone and scrolling through TikTok videos when a semi-truck hit the family car. There was mention about Sunday school, so my assumption is that this 14-year-old girl was a Christian, attended Sunday school as a child, and she had said that Jesus didn't look at all like he was presented in Sunday school. He was bright, warm, he felt like home, and made her feel sad and peaceful all at the same time. Made her feel the love and the peace she had longed for all her life, her short life. But then Jesus turned sad. Jesus' face turned sad, and he was sad over all the children scrolling on their phones and no longer hearing his voice. Then Jesus waved his hand, and a whole bunch of screens appeared with all of these young kids scrolling on their phone, wasting their life, right? Jesus was sad that because he loved them so much, they were spending their time and attention elsewhere, not listening for his voice. And there was a few other things, but basically what I want to say is what I see happening here is another layer of illusion. Because when a body dies, when a soul leaves the body, the subconscious mind is released all at once. And everything that was ever stored and absorbed in the subconscious, unconscious mind, which is also known as the shadow, shows up as the next reality in the astral realm. And the part that I left out here is the mother was straining to drive in the rain, in a rainstorm, and was asking the daughter to look on her phone for the GPS, the map, to tell her where they had to turn off. And the girl refused because she was too busy looking at TikTok dance moves. And that's when the truck hit them. So, what's happening when the unconscious is released from the body, it stitches together all the inputs that we have had in our life. And, of course, there are scenes from the Sunday school showing up. So Jesus shows up. That which we hope for, that which we wish for, but also the other stuff that we have suppressed, like guilt, shame. For example, all of those phone screens with all the children use being zoned out and with dark shadows surrounding them. Oh, and Jesus spoke about the enemy too, right? The dark enemy is influencing the children through their phones. All of this is subjective, unconscious, shadow stuff. The experience isn't actually real. There isn't actually a Jesus that met her, but Jesus is the mirror for the soul. And Jesus will reflect the shadows in the unconscious, right? So, of course, at first, Jesus represents everything that we hope for. The love, the peace, the acceptance, forgiveness. And that's the good parts. But then comes the, I would almost call it shaming, the manipulation. Jesus making a sad face and talking about how these children no longer listen for his voice but are occupied elsewhere. This is the subconscious speaking of a child that was raised in Sunday school and taught about a relationship with Jesus, spending time with God, going to church. And so the guilt is speaking through that shadow. The guilt is speaking through the shadow. So the guilt part of the subconscious is now speaking, where probably the mother was nagging the daughter all the time to get off the phone, to not spend so much time on the phone, on TikTok, etc. Right? And that shows up as these phone screens that Jesus is showing the young soul in the near-death experience. And basically what I didn't like about this near-death experience is the emotionally and psychologically manipulative way that Jesus spoke in the experience. And of course, the girl has come back, was sent back into her body, and now she has to tell everybody about Jesus, for the young people to put down their phones and spend time with Jesus. Spend time in the Bible and listening for Jesus' voice. To me, that is, like I said, total indoctrination, subconscious indoctrination mixed with the guilt of not listening to the mother, to the parents, to the disciplinary admonitions, because right in the back seat, she wasn't listening to her mother, but was engrossed and absorbed in her phone, in TikTok. So there wasn't actually a Jesus there. That was simply the girl's subconscious soul speaking and being reflected back on the canvas or the wall of her religious upbringing, with Jesus, of course, being the moral authority, the convicting authority. And if you understand your shadow, if you understand your unconscious mind and how it pieces together the mosaic of this astral reality of when the soul is released from the body, all of these unconscious traumas, unconscious impressions are also released. And that is what a person experiences in a near-death experience. It is an experience of your own making. And I did a pretty poor job trying to explain it, but the traces of the unconscious are all over the near-death experience. Besides, I think you should leave the kids alone. What the young people need to learn is not about Jesus. They need to learn that their soul is divine. In fact, is the infinite self, or God, that has taken on human flesh for experience. That is super empowering, rather than making them feel guilty for not having a relationship or practicing their relationship with Jesus, right? Where you outsource your energy and have to please God, right? Because Jesus is lonely or something, right? No. These young people need to know that they are divine source, the infinite self in human form, and so is everybody. And when you get this epiphany, it will set you free from the codependent and addicted ego persona that we have all been duped into believing that's who we are. That's just a play character in this video game. The true self is the infinite self that we call God, that has taken on the form of the material form of all creation, and in our case, of humanity. That's the real gospel. That's the empowering truth that everyone needs to know.